Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of the Tabletop Corner. Last month our friends at Battlefront sent us this very big box with a whole Japanese World War II army for the game Flames of War. Basically Flames of War until now covered in the 4th edition just the Western theater, so Europe and North Africa and Russia. And now they released this other big book with all the armies for the Pacific War in the mid-war, so 42 and 43. Inside the book you can find the armies of Japan and the US Marines that are in the Pacific, the Commonwealth, the British Army and the Australian Army. And this box basically contains almost everything you need to paint and prepare an interesting Japanese army. Obviously we didn't leave the box on the shelf, and it's a dirt job but somebody has to do. So I painted the army, and you can see the 2 platoons ready for action with the support of the artillery and the HQ in the front commanding the team. As you can see, I really enjoyed to paint this army because, as you can see, I decided to have the basis tell a story. So you will see that the infantry is landed on some far island in the Pacific and found this broken temple, and so they are scouting to see if there are enemies of the Empire inside. All the miniatures are from Battlefront, from the box that you can see here. We are just missing the tanks that are going to be painted soon. And while the props, the walls and the vegetation and so, is 3D printed. 3D printing is something that if you like to model and do painting miniatures, is something that you really need to try, because it allows you to scale down a lot of files and adapt to what you're doing. So for this case, I bought 28mm, so Warhammer scale things, and reduced to have the props or the dimension I needed. And now let's dive into our, let's say, game of the month, Blood Red Skies. Our friends from Warlords sent us the game, the battle starter with Battle of Midway. So the box contains everything you need to play a number of scenarios set in the Pacific, with the US fighting against the Japanese. The box contains enough planes to do 5 scenarios with, you can see there are also card-shaped ships that you can use in some scenario, and also the clouds where you can go to flee from the enemy. Blood Red Skies allows you to play skirmishes in the skies of World War II, and basically into the box you find these tiny and well-detailed planes. They come unpainted, but you can paint them up very easily, and also there are the decals, so you can finish them up. Once painted, they are very nice. And I think that Blood Red Skies has a very clever solution for one of the Achilles heels of any plane simulator in World War II or later. Instead of taking care of the altitude of the plane, that is sometimes a mess to understand, because you can see some other games with very high sticks to control the altitude. Basically, in Blood Red Skies, you have just the position of the plane. So if it's parallel, it's neutral. If it's in a very good position, it's advantaged. While if it's in a bad position, it's disadvantaged. So basically, all the game is a choice, because you can use the power of your plane. Basically, it simulates the altitude to dive. So you can go very fast, or can do strange or awkward maneuvers going into disadvantage. So you, for example, you can go on the back of the plane of the enemy, of the opponent, but you lose your advantage. Or at the same time you can stop yourself, move less quickly, and go in an advantage position. This is very important because when you shoot to an enemy and you roll these dice, and basically it's important to do this kind of symbol, the ace. You can only hit the opponent if you are in a better position than him. So you must be neutral against disadvantage or advantage against neutral. Otherwise, you can't even shot him. Obviously, as you can bet, if you are on the tail it's much easier to damage the opponent, but it's not vital to kill the opponent, because anytime you score an hit, even if the opponent managed to avoid the hit rolling better dice than you give to the opponent this symbol. That basically means that you have put stress on the opponent plane. If one of the players has a bigger number of these tokens than the number of active planes, the game ends, because basically the player flee from the skies. Inside the manual, there are a lot of examples to understand how it works. Actually, the manual is not big, but the rules are even smaller. It's just the first pages, so it's very easy to understand. Also, you have in the box, in the starter box, you have these sticks that allow you to play even on a flat table. I prefer to play with hexagon because it's more easy to keep track of the position of the planes. But you can play on just a blue board in the case of Midway, or a green one in the case of the Western Front. And also there are some scenarios. The first one are very easy introductory scenarios. Otherwise there are more difficult, where there is the task to hit the opponent's navy, so it's more difficult to defend. You have also these cards that explain how the plane perform, and also these kind of cards that gives some flavor to the planes. For example, this one is a heavy flak presence, so it means in this case that the fire from the ships is more heavy than usual, so it's more difficult to approach and bomb the ships. You can have a lot of kind of planes. Obviously, in the Battle of Midway pack, you have only Japanese and USR planes, but for example, you can have expansion with other American planes, or even German and British. And so you can expand and play the theater you prefer. I think that Blood Red Skies is a very friendly, nice, and good game that you can play with friends in under 1 hour. There are also tournaments. So if you want to play something that is a cross between a true war game and a board game, this is a fantastic opportunity. Also because, as I said, with the basic box, there are different ones, but this one is for Battle of Midway. In the box you find everything you need, the sticks, the planes, the counters, the dice, the cards, and so you can play for a long time with your friends just with the basic box. But I'm sure that if you like the game, you will buy a lot of expansions like I did. Thank you very much for watching the second episode of the Tabletop Corner. And don't forget to send your feedback, your ideas, and if you have any game, board game or war game that you want to see in the next episode, to the email below. And see you at the end of September.